Morning, folks.
I'm happy to report that no one stole any of our machines last night. That's always a good way to start your day, seeing that. I would get out and walk across to check the cutter bar, but I'm enjoying my heated seat a little too much this morning. Katie's draper is in great shape. Let's see how Marty's looks. Surprisingly, they're both in fantastic shape, even after cutting this rocky old farm. There's the head honcho. Did it rain last night?
Yeah.
Really? Huh. Color me surprised. I didn't think it was supposed to rain at all. Doesn't look like it amounted to much because the ground is already dry, but rain nonetheless. Oil on the 780 is perfect. That's not exactly a weather-tight seal with that folding grain tank. Doesn't look right. What would you even do with a stolen combine? I don't know that there's really chop shops out there for John Deere spare parts. They've pretty much got that market cornered. Not only that, you wouldn't be able to get very far because these are all literally 4G equipped. I can see where every machine we have is on the farm. However, there's many things I don't do. One of them is underestimate the ability of the human race to do something massively dumb. We're gonna go ahead and mosey on towards the fuel tanks. Unhook the heads. Because everyone knows a big day of harvesting starts at the fuel tank. Alliance Tractor's out here bright and early this morning, trying to remedy our yield monitor issues on the S670. He ended up replacing the moisture meter main control board, which he said ties into the mass flow and has a lot of play on how the yield monitor reads. So it's actually just that shield that's built into it right in that spot right there. He's putting a new one in and said if it works, then we should be good to go. Recalibrate at the next field. What's your deal? I've got a conspiracy theory that every tarp design is done poorly just to encourage you to buy the power tarp option. Alliance Tractor just got finished up. He said that we won't really know if it worked until we get an opportunity to cut some more calibration loads. Basically, it's going to be a few hours before we have any idea whether or not that was the appropriate fix. But they tried something. Let's get this combine to the fuel barrel. That's a good start to the morning. First try. Dad and I stopped to talk to the tile contractor. Another disappointing conversation about the state of our old drainage system out here. There were a few different stages of drainage systems put in this farm. A lot of laterals across this 125 acres. This north portion of the farm where he's working now, we're also having drainage issues on. He claims that the old 5-inch tile that was laid out there was one of the first types of plastic tile made, and it is extremely brittle, and basically the tile has disintegrated in the ground. Our research in the field from the last couple of years and some of those wet spots digging up a few of those drainage pipes does corroborate his theory, because the ones we dug up were not in good shape. You could take a shovel to them, barely tap them, and they'd probably pull apart. I'm glad that we have someone out there fixing those problems, or at least adding to our drainage efficiency. However, there is one word to describe the way this project's going, and that is expensive. Dad's headed to Lerna as we speak, and we will be shortly after grabbing his draper. This chalk was doing the Lord's work this morning, because gravity was not on our side with this draper. When he unhooked the head, it rolled back a foot before the chalk stopped it. It would have been straight downhill to the train tracks. Moving to Lerna. This little gal's working this morning pulling this draper uphill. Made it to Lerna in one piece, except for I smacked the crap out of a sign in the middle of town. No excuses there, it's pretty much my fault through and through. Hopefully we didn't do any damage. Looks fine, I guess. Hard to find good health, isn't it? The troops are moving east now. We got a combine and draper over there. I'm gonna take this semi to the field from last night, dump off the remainder from the grain cart, and then I'm gonna take the grain cart to the field. Looking at what we've already weighed out of the cart on this field, and including what's on the cart right now, rough estimation, these beans on this low productivity farm made just over 70 bushels per acre, which is a satisfactory result for us. This is another one of those farms where we don't have high expectations, but out here, those Pioneer 38T76 beans did fine. Raises the questions again. Why did they do so poorly back there on the good dirt? Offloading beans and hitting the pavement. What a start to this new field for this combine operator. The combine's blocking his path of destruction. Dad wasn't 100% familiar with the boundary on this new farm. He thought the corner post right on the other side of where he's parked is the boundary line that squares off the dog leg. And as a matter of fact, it's the corner post over there. So he cut a quarter mile of someone else's beans. Thank goodness that I showed up when I did, or we would have had 40 acres of someone else's field cut. It happens, I guess. Accidents, they occur all the time. So sorry to Steve, the neighbor farmer here that we cut through. We'll square up with him. Marty has boss amnesty, so he can get away with things like that. I told you this already, and I'll tell you again, it's hard to find good help. We got some people running the drapers into signs on the side of the road, other people stealing other people's soybeans. It's a mess out here in Coles County. This dog leg boundary is the field we're opening up, and that little tangent there is where Marty thought the property line was. Not only was he off about halfway down here, he also went 3 times as far as the actual dogleg portion. He cut about 1,900 feet of his beans. We estimated at 35 foot wide, 80 bushel beans, 130 bushels was fair. So on this first load, we called the elevator and said, hey, take 130 bushels out of this farm's name and give it to that farmer. Harvest is on for the day though, so we're gonna hit it hard. This silly tarp is still being a troublemaker this morning. Actually, not too bad. The camera on the back makes it look worse than it is. These beans look really good. This is a Beck's 3530 E3 Enlist soybean. They actually seem to have pretty good yield potential out in this field. I take back what I said earlier about this tarp. I think as opposed to being on the back side of it, you actually want to be pulling it towards you as you tarp to keep the back end in line with the front end, which was the issue. I don't know if we've had the start to the day we need to get 235 acres cut. You can tell which camera I didn't clean out of the 4. The neighbors are cutting too. If only they'd showed up about an hour earlier, we could have blamed them for stealing the neighbors' beans. It's time for Lenny's daily grain cart training session. And arguably equally as important, it's also lunchtime. You thirsty?
Yeah, he stole somebody's animal crackers at the library.
Oh my gosh. I can't really give you a moral lesson on stealing people's stuff because Marty cut some of the neighbor's soybeans. Say bye-bye to Chris. He's going with the elevator.
There you go.
Lenny, can I get some nucks? Nucks. DEFCON 5, we have a skunk crossing the field towards the pickup trucks. Good news, everyone. The skunk has crossed the road onto someone else's property and away from our pickup trucks. Between me slapping that sign in Lerna with the draper snout and Dad cutting the neighbor's beans, the skunk, if it had sprayed us, would definitely have been our 3rd strike of the day. We would have had to go home and quit. Lenny is very concerned that I'm staging the carts without him. Only a couple passes left of these 3530 Beck's beans. Yield looks decent. That's all she wrote for the 3530 E3s. We've got more Beck's beans down the road, but it is a different variety. Don't mind our crew, just transporting the combines with the hoppers open and the drapers on. We were moving fields and Katie said that her tailing auger was full.
pop her up and look at it. The belts were all fine now. It looked like cuckoldburrs or something might have caused that. Cuckoldburrs are these spiky little balls, and for some reason the tailing auger does not like them. On most of our farms, we don't typically see a lot of cuckoldburr, especially because of the advent of Roundup Ready technology. Roundup or glyphosate seems to eliminate cuckoldburrs pretty good. This farm, though, has a few spots like that one, and one over there, and one over in that corner that have a lot of water damage. Spots with water damage seem to be very conducive to cuckoldburr. I don't know why, that's just the way it is. This is our first season farming all 4 of these pieces east of Lerna. Like I said, they're very wet. We do plan on working with the landowner to do some surface drainage improvements and possibly add more subsurface drainage as well. Or at least that's the plan. Moved over to the next field. You can see to the line where I ran out of the Beck's 3530 soybean and reloaded with 3830 Beck soybeans. Different color bean. On a positive note, this field is off to a much better start than the first one. Marty didn't cut a half mile of the neighbor's beans here. So we got that going for us. The previous 76 acres, give or take an acre, that we harvested averaged right under 75 bushels per acre. Although this is tremendous ground around here, I do believe that's kind of in line with expectations. I have heard some chatter from some seed salesmen in this neck of the woods, kind of southern Coles County, right in the middle, where they said that most of the beans were falling 65 to 70. The fact that that last field made almost 75 bushels per acre makes it above average. I do wonder on these first 2 farms that we planted the same day and did not replant, if we had had a better stand, could our top end yield have been better? A lot of gaps out here in spots. A soybean plant is the best in the business at flexing to adapt to population. However, if the gap is too wide, it's just not going to be able to maximize that photosynthetic area. If you're not capturing every single speck of sunlight and you're letting some of it hit the ground, you are not growing efficiently on your acres. The difference between a poor stand of soybeans after planting and a perfect stand of soybeans could have just been a ½ inch of rain. If we had gotten a ½ inch to an inch and not an 1.5 inches to 2 inches on this farm immediately, especially if it was a soft rain, it probably would have made no difference at all. We got a heavy rain though, and that's just not a good combination. I thought he was just going to turn on the end and come back. He must have different plans. At least he's cutting in our field. We'll count that as a victory. A 30-acre field is child's play for 2 combines. Open that up, and we're going to unhook this head up the road with the other field. Second combine's arriving right on time. Chris bringing up the back of the pack. Should have another 30 acres done in no time. Katie's off with her draper to go to the field, and I'm going to dump this grain cart and follow behind. That time of the year, leaves are starting to change colors. bad day to be downwind from that machine. Dusty. Third field done for the day. Headed on to the fourth and also the largest field here. It's a short 100 acres. Should be there till we turn the lights on. We're holding up traffic. The other crew moving through the area.
Plant this north and south or east and west?
This is a busy area. There goes another long equipment train. Big field, long rows. That means we're catching the trucks. To guarantee that we can actually finish cutting the entirety of this big, short 100-acre field, we are going to have to make sure that we can get enough trucks away so we have enough space come elevator close time. It's not exactly helping our cause that we've caught the trucks. If the combine stopped, that's going to kill any of our chances of finishing this farm. So, we're becoming truck drivers. Gotta finish this field. Overloading the trucks is more fun when you're not the one tarping them. See you in a few, grain cart. The truck is back at the field. Not sure if there's any brake pads left though. Both combines are completely stopped, which is not a good sign. Magnificent sunset. I hope you guys enjoyed that on the time lapse. I don't know if you could tell, but I actually switched trucks with Jeff at the elevator so I'd be front line. Got back first. The big machine is moving, but the small machine is still not going very much. What was the issue with their combine?
Scaling more fast.
Katie's S670 is still giving us fits with that tailing auger getting plugged. So I'm going to hop in and try and recalibrate some of the threshing clearances.
Can you imagine trying to dig them out of the combine?
All those cockleburrs. This combine really does not like them. Shut your separator off and then just start the calibration. Click that.
Should I wait till it shuts?
Nah, just start it. It won't go, it won't go. It's all automatic. It just opens them and closes them.
Should I do the sieve too?
It's not done yet. You could do it all. The newer combines are all together, like one calibration does all of them. So it opens them all the way up and then closes them. Katie probably could have done that on her own, but Dad sent me over that way. Duty calls though, he's about full.
The transfer in the sieve, so you're going to put it back at 14 and 6.
This field is well over halfway completed. We have plenty of truck space and grain cart space to move quite a bit. We'll round up to 2,300 bushel plus another 1,100 on the grain cart if we want to pack it full. That is 3,400 bushels divided by 70 bushels per acre, which I think is generous given how much water damage there is out here. We're looking at about 45 to 50 acres worth of storage. It'll get our best shot, I can guarantee you that. The lights are on, the sun is set. We're putting on a show out here southeast of Lerna.
Bad news. I lost one of my gloves somewhere in the trucking journey, and I don't think we're going to be able to finish this field. That's partially to do with the main combine operator ready to call it quits for the night. It is getting kind of late. And secondarily, Chris took his load to the elevator. He pulled in at right after 7. They close at 7 o'clock. I actually sent him with plenty of time to get there, but he just doesn't really drive that fast and can't really encourage him to drive any faster. You don't want to go any faster than you're comfortable with, especially with a grain truck. That being said, they told him it's 7:03, we closed 3 minutes ago, our computers are shut down, we can't take your load, which seems ridiculous to me. I've seen people pull into other elevators 30 minutes after they close and still get dumped. I've noticed a trend over the last 5 years of working out here during harvest. As the boss gets older, and I get older too, he seems to want to quit at a more reasonable time every night. I personally could sit out here for another 3 or 4 hours and run, especially because I can entertain myself if I get bored. That is one of the reasons I like planning, because I can just kind of run loose. But out here, it's such a team effort that you can't do that. It is quit time. We're gonna take the trucks to a safe place. Don't like to leave them at the field. Where are the lights in this vehicle? There we go. The convoy hits the road again. Ah, the lovely sound of the bin sites around the countryside in fall. Fans running, echoing out into the night. Almost poetic. What's not poetic is that we did not finish harvest today. I thought maybe if we pushed the pedal down a little harder, we might finish it up, but that was probably unrealistic. I always set the bar a little bit higher than is actually achievable. That being said, unless an asteroid hits the planet or something catastrophic, we should finish soybean harvest tomorrow. There is a frost moving in. I think the low is down like the upper 20s, so that's going to end the life of any plants out here that still have any kind of fall vigor in them. I hope to see you guys all in the next episode. Until then, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!